and stop being unhealthy. All you need to do is understand that food is like medicine. I can't say that it is exactly, because some pharma industry is gonna have, I'm gonna have them on my back sometime if I keep saying that, so I won't say that. I'm gonna cut them out of my life. I'm gonna cut all the issues out of my life. I'm gonna teach you how to make a gut healthy yogurt. Gut healthy yogurt. I use this. You can screenshot this and then mirror it, but it says Probio Kids. The most important thing in this, and I actually ruined it because it was too humid here in the tropicals, but so it's actually, but it has reuteri inside. Look, it's all stuck in there. So I cut a little bit out of it, but luckily I brought other things. You can also buy this one. But if you don't know how to make this yogurt and you don't have the time to watch this, take a note about this. Let me write the link down below. It's called Mark Bonner, which is my name, and it should also be up here somewhere. markbonner.com, and you get the recipe for free for the yogurt. It's on there. It's called the reuteri yogurt. The reuteri, now you can screenshot, and now you have right there is the link to where you get the yogurt for free. But you can also comment yogurt on any of my videos. I believe I did set that up so you get the link sent to you. So go on any of my other videos, click my name up here, go to my profile, any video, write yogurt, and I'll send you the links automatically. So what are we gonna do today? It's gonna be pretty simple stuff. So I have coconut because I don't drink it milk, and I usually said I cannot drink milk. I'm super allergic to milk, but in fact, I've healed my gut, so I can actually have some milk, organic milk. That's very important, by the way, because if I drink non-organic milk, then no good thing is gonna come out of that. And I don't recommend you do it. And let me just explain very quickly about milk. Milk, it has bacteria. When it's raw milk, it has a lot of good bacteria. It could potentially also have bad bacteria, but I mean, if you have a healthy body, it's not gonna be an issue. But so all the governments made a law that you have to heat up the milk to 70 degrees Celsius to sell the milk. But if you go directly to a farm and you say, knock on his door and be like, do you have some raw milk I can buy? You bring your own glass bottles and then you get the raw milk and you pay the farmer. I really do recommend that because you make the best butter, you make the best cream, you make the best whatever. I can have raw milk, I cannot have pasteurized milk. And do you know what happens if we take milk and we pasteurize it? We kill the bacteria. Why is it that milk is so sweet? Because we heat up the milk, turn them into bacteria. So what is condensed milk? That's even more heated up milk that turns sweet because of the bacteria that dies inside, then are now more sweet. So that's why pasteurization, yes, it could kill bacteria that are harmful, but most farmers are doing a pretty decent job keeping the cows clean and, keeping them healthy by feeding them the right food. But if they're not, you shouldn't even buy their milk, right? So I'm gonna use coconut milk because that's what they have here in the tropical island where I am right now. So this recipe I'm gonna give you helped heal my gut. Literally, this has the same bacteria that one of the most inefficient, well, I would say the most easily killed bacteria you have in your body that you got from your mother's milk. It's not in your body anymore for that reason that you had antibiotics in your foods or that you took the medicine. If you ever had antibiotics, this bacteria most likely died. It's a super sensitive bacteria. If it gets over 47 degrees, that's why I also am equipped with my secret weapon, a thermometer. Thermometer? Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. I am Danish, by the way, so that is why I sound a little bit strange sometimes when I speak some words. At least I don't speak like that all the time. But this, I can measure the temperature, but I'm here in a tropical island. Everything is around 30-something degrees, but it's never 47. So I hopefully can ferment this yogurt made with my bacteria here that I took out of one of the pills, and I'm gonna again put this up. If you want the recipe, the link is down there. But this is the pills that I put inside. And what is this? It's a L. reuteri. L stands for Lactobacillus, which is just a short for the gut bacteria that we have in our bodies. Lactobacillus. If you ever were traveling overseas and someone gave you those stomach pills, this is some of the compounds that are in them, except the L. reuteri is super rare. We give them to kids, as you can see here, probio kids, and that's because it's supposed to be in mother's milk. So when the kids don't get it because the mother took antibiotics, then you kill those bacteria in your baby too, because who's latching on your boobs when you're breastfeeding and getting the milk that you also got antibiotics, maybe because of some infection. There's many ways of fighting infections. For sure, antibiotics are amazing, but should probably only be used a couple of times in your lifetime. That's just my opinion. My life was partly ruined because of antibiotics. So that's why I'm gonna put this in a short moment. But first, let's get some coconut milk going, because this is like actually, unfortunately, pasteurized coconut milk. I could not find organic coconut milk, and that's the annoying thing about traveling. You are not sure that where the places you go, if they are more into processed food, and they are for sure, because here they have like still 60-70% processed food in their supermarkets, and it's not fun walking in those supermarkets. Anyways, I'm gonna cut the coconut, and maybe I should just do like that so you can see what I'm doing more or less. And we're gonna cut open the coconut milk, and it's like a nice, really thick coconut milk actually. You see, because I think it's been heated, so it's a little bit condensed. I try to look in the ingredients list in Indonesian language, and it's hard to say if it is condensed. If it is condensed, it means the coconut is heated. It doesn't have a lot of good bacteria inside. It doesn't have a lot of health benefits inside, because with everything, when you put heat into it or you freeze it, you either contain the good things or you kill the good things and the bad things. And it's the same with antibiotics. If you take antibiotics, you would kill the good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria. What we actually know from scientific research is that if you ever took antibiotics, within 2 years' time, you would either get depression, anxiety, stress, irritable bowel syndrome, mood swings, and even schizophrenia. So it only goes to show that our gut is our second brain, right? So when we know this, we know how to treat the body right. How do you treat your body right? First of all, you start listening to the old food pyramid that we talked about early on in many years ago, and we talk about the new pyramid. What I usually said was take the old pyramid of the food pyramid and just turn it around, and everything that's on the bottom they want to eat a lot of. And then the last thing you want to eat a lot of is all the grains, the starch, the carbs, everything like that, because those things are not meant for us in high amounts, if you ask me. Well, at least they were participating in ruining my gut, my health. If your gut is ruined, 80% of your immune system can be ruined. So you want to be really sure that your gut is functioning perfectly and your bowels are working properly. So inside this pill, it's hard to open without spilling it, but I'm just gonna try to keep it over. There's a powder inside of this. If I can just open it, yeah, there we go. Oops. So you see there's a powder inside that. And I just put it inside this one here. And I only put 2 in. Normally I would put 4, but the only thing that happens is if I don't put enough, it takes a bit longer to ferment. But things here in a tropical climate, they ferment really quickly. It's a perfect ground for bacteria. And see, I made a huge mistake by making this, but I knew this before I started the video. I should have scalded this, and it should have been plastic, because plastic leaches PFAS and BPA, only if heated, but also leaches a little bit in very fatty content. This coconut is fat, but it's only going to be there in 2 days. So I'm not that worried about leaching chemicals or PFAS or BPA. And you can sometimes check at the bottom. I don't think you can see it, but at the bottom here, there's like triangles that shows either 1, 2, 3, 0.47 PE or other things. And you can look these triangles up. It goes to show that you should either never heat it, and most plastics you should never heat, but you should either never heat it or you could heat it a little bit, but I would never recommend heating any plastic with food in it. At least not food that you tend to eat, which most foods are, right? So I'm not going to heat this up and scald it, because if I did, then I would leach PFAS and BPA into it. And since it's been heated so many times, I was thinking, well, it's been in dishwasher, and so it probably isn't that bad anymore. But, you know, plastics keep leaching these and leaking these things. So I'm going to keep putting coconut in there. I put 2 pills in there. That means if that's not enough, it needs to ferment a little bit longer, but with the risk that it can spoil, because with everything that is fermenting too long can sometimes spoil a lot. And I'm actually sitting in a room where there's an air condition. All it needs to take is just a tiny bit of mold from that floats into this little coconut experiment, which is not an experiment because I've done it many times, but I haven't done it in this room before. And, you know, I have an idea that there could be some mold in this room, which is not enough because I would usually smell it very clearly. I'm very sensitive to mold. And so there could be a little bit. And since I would usually do this outside, because most things outside are better in fresh air. But yeah, that's the risk I'm willing to take for this experiment to run its course. And I'll get clever tomorrow or the day after when I know how good it's fermented. But the crazy thing here, in Denmark, normally I would leave it in the living room or something like that, where it's like actually not warm enough. It's around 20 something degrees. But here, because it's so humid and so warm, it's actually fermenting almost within a day, and sometimes even less. Last time I did this experiment, when I showed you guys, it literally exploded. So I'm not gonna fill it to the top. I'm gonna leave some space for the gases of this to seep out, because it expands. It doubles its size. So I'm just gonna probably put one more of these in, and then, I mean, it is an experiment in this room because I've never done it here, but that's why you want to scald the glass to kind of kill the bacteria that's inside the glass. And please use a glass and not a plastic container like I'm doing. So, but because I'm lacking the tools here, I'm doing my very best with what I have. And if I succeed, it's still gonna help me heal my gut. And I see there's a little bit of the other bacteria I try to get out for. Then there's something that you don't necessarily need. If you make it with milk, you have to use that. If you don't make it with milk, but with coconut, there's actually fiber in coconut. There's not a lot of fiber in milk. And so you can make this whole recipe with milk, and you can see the link just there down below, markbarner.com/blog. You'll find my yogurt recipe. And if you really want the whole procedure, you can go buy the actual recipe and the process of it, and a protocol on how to heal your gut, how to do it, how often to eat it, but you don't need it if you don't want it. So, but I'm gonna put a little bit of this in. It's called inulin, inulina in Spanish, that's where I bought it. Inulin. So it's a fiber that's really good for your gut. We've always learned that fibers are good for your gut, right? But fibers are best when there's sugars. And you know who loves fiber? Bacteria. So they thrive on that, and that's gonna help them ferment. So I'm gonna put the equivalent of maybe a teaspoon or 2 inside here. I actually already have fibers inside, and inulin I think should be heated a little bit for it to really dissolve and not to clump together. But you know, we're trying with the tools we have right here. And so the bacteria now will try to eat the fiber, and with that it's gonna start fermenting. So within a day or so, because I'm here in Indonesia, I can smell the yogurt smell is gonna start or not. And I will also, if I don't put the inulin in, well, if it's milk, then it's not gonna get really like a yogurt texture. It's gonna be very like drinking yogurt, which is still healthy, still works. So you can still have it. the good thing is the second round, I'm not going to clean this glass, well, container. I'm not going to clean it. I'm actually going to keep it with a tiny bit of yogurt in it. Just pour some coconut milk in, a little bit more of inulin, because the bacteria is already in there. So it's just going to ferment the next part. And the reason why you don't just eat the pills and you don't just eat that is because there's not a lot of living bacteria in that. And until it goes through your gut, a lot of these bacteria won't really revive that much. So you have to really eat them a lot and eat them often. And I have stories about how many people that healed because of this yogurt. So now you know how easy it is to make. It literally isn't more than this. And I'm looking at the amount in here and I feel like I could just put one more coconut in. I hope I will not regret it. But then at least I can film that it exploded over my terrace or something. So we're gonna put the last coconut milk in and we're gonna give it a really good shake. This is my protein shaker that I brought when I travel because I buy some vegan protein, so it's not going to be that cheap, crappy, typical protein powder that's usually a waste product that the industry now found out they could sell us to make some cheap protein shake. But I mean, why not? Why discard leftovers if you can use them? So anyways, shake it up. It would be fun if it just break now and it was all over the place, right? But I'm glad I screwed up a little bit. So pretty much this is it. So you have the L. reuteri bacteria, we have the inulina, and we have coconut milk. And that's pretty much it. In any other country, scald your glass before you do it. Make sure not to turn on the lid tight after you shook it. Just open it a little bit. So it's gonna have some, I'm gonna put the lid on and turn like half still on. You can still breathe. And because the bacteria needs to breathe, it actually releases some gases when it's doing its thing. And I'm so worried that this is gonna explode, but leave it for in your country around room temperature, maximum of 45 degrees Celsius, or even better, around 37 hours at 37 degrees. You'll be very successful around that. So 37 is easy to remember, right? That's how I remember it. So 37 hours, that's, what is that? That's like 1.5 days. And then you smell it and be like, it should smell like yogurt-y. If it's like strange and it has some strange colors in there, something growth on top of it or something like that, you don't want to eat it. I've seen some people take the top off, but you know, that bacteria can be other places, and you know, you don't know what bacteria it is, so you don't know what grew in there. So another thing is like making sourdough bread, is like, you can even try to shake it a little bit during that time, but I didn't have success doing that because it just turns it into a more liquid type of shape. So the bacteria wants to kind of eat the fiber and then make it all stick together like a classic yogurt. So you can make Greek yogurt like this. You can even take, and that's an extra tip, you can even take your Greek yogurt and you can add even more milk into it, or a coconut, or whatever you want. Shake it and stir it around and make your own yogurt from your Greek yogurt, and adding in the bacteria you also want there to grow. But there's kind of a fight with bacteria sometimes. I'm not smart enough to know about that yet, but sometimes some bacteria win over another bacteria. So it seems that sometimes some bacteria doesn't thrive with other bacteria. So it is the best thing just to make your Greek yogurt and then make the L. reuteri yogurt by itself, and then you can always mix it when it's done. After 37 hours, put it in the fridge. And then 5 hours later, you stop the process, and now you eat a spoon or like a tiny glass of it. If you made more glasses of this, you can even eat the whole thing if you want. But I mean, why waste it if you can spread it over days? Like I say, food is medicine, right? Everything you eat every day and you repeat it, that is what's your medicine. So that's the problem with me and dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is super healthy, but it comes with sugar. So if I eat it every day, now I have cravings. Now I cannot control the cravings. And I don't know anyone who actually are really great at controlling cravings. But that's why you don't want to eat something every day. That's why when I was a kid, we always had Sunday or Saturday candy, because it was just one day out of the week. and your body can actually handle that better than it can handle something that you get every day. So get something every day, like steak or eggs or a butter, preferably all of them organic, grass-fed, and so on. Get yourself some healthy foods every day, and then whenever you want to go crazy with something, make sure you feel good, make sure you're not down, make sure it's not a craving you're listening to, other than if it's an intuitive craving that you need something. I had a friend the other day that was just craving fruit suddenly, and especially oranges. In that case, I would definitely listen, because oranges are amazing. Anything with C vitamins are amazing. And get yourself some sunshine as well, right? I actually put this next to it. I don't know, there's like mixed ideas about this. It's called santan gum. It's a plant that I think is from a gum tree. If I put it into this, it's gonna be much more jelly-like. In this temperature and with fibers, I don't need to do that. And especially because I've tried this coconut milk before, it actually thickens pretty well. And I think it has some thickener in there, maybe, hopefully not, but it could be the reason why. But if it's not thickened enough, you add a tiny bit of this, and it's trial and error. You try a little bit, and then you try a little bit more next time if it wasn't enough, and then you put less in if it was too much. So this literally, and I can see Anna just joined, and she was with me last year when I made this yogurt that healed my gut. And I wish for all of you, we actually even smeared it on people's skin. So if you don't know this, breast milk has enormous benefits for people and babies. That's why they need it, babies. They don't need like fake breast milk or fake, what do you call it? Whatever they call it, the powder, the baby milk that they stir it from powder. We used this on the skin of my other friend when I was with Anna in traveling last year in Bali, and I made this and we smeared it on my friend's skin, and it actually helped her skin heal faster. And it's because the L. reuteri bacteria is known to be really good for skin. So if you look up L. reuteri, you'll find a bunch of skin products with L. reuteri bacteria inside. It's so good, and that's why we made the yogurt today. So you know what to do, and we did it. And if you want to know it even more, you can go to the link below, and we can even go to markbarner.com/shop. I have the whole protocol there, and you can just follow it step by step, and you'll be good. Yeah, I hope it heals you like it did my gut. And also, I mean, the carnivore diet that I was on has helped me immensely. So it's not only this, it's also, I don't know if you see the cupboard over there. All of this is also supplements. So these also help me detoxing when I had was around people that took the vaccine and they were shedding spike protein. There's some like organo oil, there's some black seed oil, there's C vitamin, D vitamin, MK7, there's it's also called K vitamin, and there's magnesium and a bunch of other stuff. I take those depending on how my body feels. You know, that I trust my body, and I also trust that it needs to sometimes get a little bit get a little bit sick. If I'm on an airplane for 16, 17 hours, it's very wise that it doesn't feel great, right? So hydrating and all these things. So there's many things. That's why I say body, mind, and soul. If your body isn't doing well, you do the best you can with the remedies you have. Mind, make sure to de-stress, make sure to meditate, make sure to be aware that you create your own reality by thinking and feeling, right? So you can think of something and you feel about it, and it's like it almost comes true. We know this from visualization. People visualize. They did like a scientific research where they were like doing like a push-up thing. People who visualized before doing it, they gained 20%, I think it was 18, but let's just say 20% more muscle than the other participant that didn't visualize before doing it. That's why I say body. Mind is super important. The thing you think about, feel about, super important. And soul, why are you here? What is your passion? What is moving within you? If you believe in past lives, what were you before? Was there anything, a traumatic experience that your soul went through? So For some reason, you're scared of spiders, you don't know why, and you know, all these things. The last thing is where I do my coaching most of the time, but also body, mind, and soul is always part of my coaching. So if you're interested in that, it's markbarner.com/booking. Anyways, I mean, all this knowledge, I threw it on you. I hope you can fathom just a little bit of it so you can take responsibility of your own health. You definitely deserve to live a healthier life. I'm so happy that I healed my gut after 20 something, maybe even close to 30 years of being sick to my gut with all the stress, the policing, the me trying to make everyone else happy than myself, with just depression because I didn't really know how to love myself and take care of myself. All these things, if you start knowing and having awareness about it, and that's just like watching things like this, it could be me or anyone else talking about these things. I just noticed that someone was regrets Lambas. Thanks for requesting, by the way. But all in all, I mean, it all goes hand in hand. You cannot have a healthy body if you don't have a healthy mind. You cannot have a healthy mind if you don't have a healthy body. So I can do all the right things for my body, and I can still, have stressful thoughts, and it's going to raise my cortisol hormone, and that's going to destroy my gut after a while. In the beginning, it's going to help me, but then it tires the body eventually. So these things go hand in hand all the time. And the soul part, not a lot of people are aware of this and are even into it. That's why some people believe in something. Some people are religious. Some people don't believe in anything and just are either very pessimistic or very positive. It all depends on how you live your life. And it depends where you come from. Even how you grew up in this life is super relevant to your health, your body, and your soul. Anyways, guys, thanks for following me and checking out my little experiment. That is something I've done many, 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 many times, but I've only done it probably 8 or 10 times in the tropical environment, atmosphere. So we'll see. I'll catch up with you probably in a story or so, and we'll see how it goes. And I hope you find the reuteri yogurt healing you just as it did me.